In a way, we are talking about if Venice today is really what it was before, in the sense of music or the presence of music. But sometimes, I feel even if you go and visit the Indian forts, there is nothing there. There are no kings. There is no music. There are no people staying there. But sometimes buildings like this, they preserve a presence of things. You can feel the music in the walls. Uh, you might have not used it for many years, but the word in Hindi is sada. Sada is it is a feeling of the past. So when you do some kind of work in relation to that, it immediately transport you to that time. So, and also because it has something to do with breathing. The buildings that are built of stone and bricks uh, are breathing in a way. I mean, they're absorbing all the sounds, they're absorbing the nature, they're absorbing everything that's around them. We talk about a presence of things, even and from where I have learned this is from my house in Bombay. It's just two rooms, but sometimes when you enter that room, there's so much music being played that you feel that it is alive. Sometimes when you're sitting even outside, you can hear the veena going on inside. So what a architectural architectural space like this does is retains, because even they say that sound in the universe doesn't disappear, it's always there. Whatever you speak is there. Similarly, I feel like when we entered the space yesterday in the main hall, I felt the presence of there is a lot of work over here. What this work does, and which is slightly different from what we are talking about, is I would like to say that is when you become like a vessel on that platform over there, and the music is being played through you. Some of this work passes through you, not necessarily the same work, but it affects the quality of your work that is there. It will lift your work if the space has very good vibrations. So I feel, see, like even nice in Venice, you see something that changes or something that keeps constant over here, everything constant, is the water element over here. It has somehow slowed down everything because it is not rapid water, it is slow water. It has affected the way the people live over here and the way they think. It's a big part of their life. Similarly, in a space like this, uh, I don't know how old this is, maybe 18th century or even old, but you can feel that there is something in the walls that that can again be experienced even if it's not used for a long time. Unless you break the building, then there is nothing. Fire is inevitable. The nature of fire, it will burn. I think also it is necessary. Maybe a place gets a life of its own, and when there is not enough attention, it will destroy itself. And then the concerned people will build it up again to restore it to what it was. Uh, I mean, musically also, we are all the time destroying what we are making, because when you talk about making art, once you have made uh, something that you can relate to, the job is done. Then you have to break it, you have to burn it, and you have to start something new. This keeps the tradition alive very much. So I think two fires in this place probably brought back to life much more this place than what it was before. It was probably neglected or not attended to as it should have been earlier. And I feel it's important to have a fire burning away some things, because it also it in a way if you see, if it burns land, it is decomposing land, but that decomposition is the manure for something else to grow again. It will not disappear totally. It's any culture which is deeply rooted, however hard you try, it's not dependent on the person, but it will survive. It has the strength to survive on its own, and it will create. I mean, it might sound a bit strange, but it will create its own ways of surviving. Maybe the fire was one way of creating it to make it survival, or to make a comeback into what was necessary. Uh, Even though it is a very bad experience and very traumatizing, it was good for the place because it jumped back. Everybody spent time and energy with it. Similarly, in tradition, there are points where things will, they go so low and they destroy themselves. But tradition doesn't rely on people, so they will come back. It will wait for the right kind of people to come and build it up again. I will only play from what I know. I cannot play what I don't know. So there are X number of things I know, and it will be one of those things. Because I'm familiar to them, to the way it is flowing. I cannot approach something which I don't know, but I might approach something which I have an idea of, which I still don't know, but now I feel is the right moment to play. However good or bad it can be, it don't matter. So you can make your choices in this manner. Of course, there is. I don't believe in playing safe. So risk, without taking risk is, risk is like walking. When you take one foot, when you lift one foot, second foot, you're losing balance unless you gain balance again. So if walking is a risk, then why not apply in everything? And yes, you have things to fall back upon. Like I want to play Malkos or Bageshri in the night. I want to play Todi in the morning. I will stick to a structure which is traditional because I don't want to break that form. It is associated with the times of the day. It talks about the color and the smell and a particular fragrance of that time of the day, that time of the season. So I would like to relive that experience. So I will do that. So I will choose among those rags which I know in a way. But there is a possibility I will choose a rag I have never played before, which I have done many times, or choose a rag which I have half baked, half cooked, not totally. So if you have faith in what is given to you, which is a format of the way of exposition of the work, and you believe in taking risk, the format itself will show you where to go next. You won't have to really search on how to do it, what to do it. Uh, the lesser you involve yourself in a manner of pushing your ideas onto it, the better the work will become. You have to become as much a listener as the audience himself, and just keep it at a distance, like how would you define a rose? A rose, you wouldn't take a rose and say it's so nice. You would smell it, at the same time look at it. So there is a distance. So that, unless you don't create a distance of close and far together, you're not going to achieve that. It's not possible. It has to be a practical view. You should be able to see what you're smelling and say at the same time. So that's, you're trying to create the balance. And with each phrase, you try to create that balance. Not necessary you will succeed, but the trying is the most important part. You have to keep on trying. Sometimes the whole thing is in balance, sometimes some of it is in balance, sometimes nothing is in balance. Mais c'est la vie. What can you do? Too much control over what you need to do and how you need to do destroys the artistry, makes it craft. You have to give a chance to come into its own, to present that kind of work. It's about how much to hold on to and how much to let go. And that is a continuous process. And that's how I would describe a concert, from a beginning to an end. Veena stands for that. Rudra Veena stands for an effortlessness in the music, and that's what it strives to be. It's not it has to become a way of easy breathing, easy saying, and easy doing. It's like an elephant, great grandeur, but if it steps on the smallest, on even on dry leaves, it will not make a sound. So that is effortlessness. I'm not saying that I could achieve that every time, effortlessness, because after all it is I who is playing the veena. But the objective is to create that effortlessness and to maintain that effortlessness. It is also a fact that traditions are oral. All Indian traditions are oral. So the veena is going to say what the voice is going to say. And because of its structure, which classifies the veena not as an instrument, but as a compass, and it says that if voice is the king, then veena is what measures it. It is an instrument of measure. So sometimes if people are feeling that voice and veena are very close to it, or they are overlapping one another, I think it's natural. It is the second voice. It is the opinion of the voice. It is redefining the voice in whatever way it can. It can't be a complete copy of the voice, but that is what a Rudra Veena is, I feel. Veena is like a grand piano, when you can roll your finger and pick it up and delay the sound. It's, you can't, I don't think you can ask, make the piano do something. It's the piano allows you to do. Veena is something like that. It has to allow you to do what it needs to be done.